Hey there, did you know that there are over 150 flood and creation tales from ancient civilizations around the world? These stories span continents and cultures, from the Americas to Asia, Africa to Europe, and even the remote islands of the Pacific. These stories are incredibly similar to the biblical accounts in Genesis. They often feature a great flood, a chosen family, and a divine warning. But why do so many cultures have these stories? What is the common thread that ties them all together? Where did they come from? Let's dig into that. Imagine an archaeologist uncovering layers of history, each artifact telling a piece of a larger story. If life developed purely through the evolutionary process, we wouldn't have these creation stories popping up everywhere. Evolution, as a scientific theory, explains the development of life through natural selection and random mutations over millions of years. Evolution relies on natural processes, not creative narratives. It doesn't account for the widespread existence of these detailed and often remarkably similar stories. So the stories can't come from evolution. And local floods? While local floods have certainly occurred throughout history, they don't explain the global prevalence of these myths. They don't explain it either. Many of these ancient societies with flood stories never experienced a flood of the magnitude described in their myths. Many ancient societies with flood stories never experienced a flood. Their lands were often dry and arid, far from any large bodies of water that could cause such a deluge. Plus, it's not like they could just travel to Babylon, grab some tales and call it a day. Travel was arduous and dangerous, and most people lived and died within a few miles of where they were born. Back then, most people had never even heard of Babylon. The world was vast and largely unexplored, with many civilizations existing in complete isolation from one another. So, where did these flood and creation accounts come from? What could explain their striking similarities? Why do they appear around the same time in history? The synchronization of these stories across different cultures and eras is a mystery that has puzzled historians and archaeologists for centuries. The most logical answer lies in the Bible. The Bible provides a coherent narrative that explains the origin and spread of these stories. In the early chapters of Genesis, we find Noah and his family. According to the Bible, Noah was warned by God about an impending flood and was instructed to build an ark to save his family and pairs of every animal species. After the flood, Noah's descendants spread out and carried their stories with them. As they migrated to different parts of the world, they took with them the tales of creation and the great flood. They told their children and grandchildren about creation and the flood. These stories were passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of their cultural heritage. At Shinar and Babel, everyone knew these stories because they were part of a one-world civilization. The Tower of Babel incident, as described in the Bible, was a pivotal moment in human history. When God changed their languages at Babel, he didn't erase their memories. The confusion of languages led to the dispersion of people across the globe, but the core stories remained intact. They carried the truth with them to their new homelands. As they settled in new regions, these stories adapted to local cultures and environments. Over time, as these groups drifted away from God, their desire for the truth faded. The original accounts were altered and embellished, leading to the diverse flood and creation myths we see today. They altered the original accounts, leading to the many flood and creation tales we read today. Each culture added its own flavor and interpretation to the core story, but only the Bible records the true events. The biblical account remains consistent and unaltered, providing a reliable source of historical truth. It provides answers to these global mysteries. The Bible's narrative offers a comprehensive explanation for the origin and spread of these ancient stories. Trust the Bible, it's never wrong. Its teachings have stood the test of time and continue to offer wisdom and guidance. If it were, we wouldn't have salvation or eternal life to look forward to. The promises of the Bible give us hope and assurance for the future. So next time you come across one of these ancient stories, remember, they are more than just myths or legends. They have a common root in the truth of Genesis. These stories are echoes of a shared human experience, rooted in the historical events recorded in the Bible. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating connections between ancient history and biblical truth.